And here I was thinking that Captain Black Falcon America, man, was going to be the first Marvel project released in 2025. Au contraire, because they have a floundering streaming service that they need to go ahead and bolster as best they can. So this is, at least to my knowledge, the first dedicated Spider-Man project to come to Disney Plus without Sony being over the top of it. It's interesting, right? Because as many challenges as Sony has had with their own Spider-Man universe or Spider-Man-less Spider-Man series of movies, which I think we'll talk about in short order, because that's just such a funny situation. But it's definitely not looking funny or interesting whatsoever is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man dropping at the end of January, and bro, dropping I think is apropos, or plopping to the bottom of the bowl, because holy crap, man. Now I like me some animation. It's just been a hot minute since we've seen anything really good for a while. Like Arcane Season 2's writing was a trash fire, but it did look good. Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim, was adapting a sweet story from the appendices. Now, its animation was just about as trash as the girl boss story that they subverted it with. But Marvel can do animation. That what if crap that just ended, now it was mostly derided for its awful stories that it was telling. Hey, what if Star-Lord was black? What if Captain America was a chick? It's like, oh my god, you could have had so many interesting stories that you could have told, but you just decided to do all of your worst ideas that ended up killing your industry and significantly hurting your films to a point where you have to bring back all of your old stars that you wanted to race and gender swap. Yeah, good decision on that one. But there's other projects that have looked a lot better recently. Hell, just in this past year, you released an animated feature that we can compare this to that looks 1,000 times better. So you have the ability. It's just, why would you release this? I mean, I don't need to play any sound over top of this because it's all going to be cringe, but you take a look at some of this animation and it's like, bro, what are we doing? I despise, well, mostly this art style is absolute ass cancer, but there's some other things that you're going to notice in this where it's like, oh, I see what you're doing here, okay? But yeah, oh, wonderful, fantastic. Okay, I think A Beautiful Joe did it better just about 2 decades ago, but yeah, saving you all for the cringe on this. And hey, take a look at this, another young Spider-Man, project. Instead of, having a prime Spider-Man that's out there, no, you need to have this young and relatable Spider-Man with his race and potentially sexuality swapped best friend, because that's Harry Osborn, by the way. Yeah, I know you don't recognize him, but hey, at least he still has red hair. It's just something significantly different. But yeah, that animation, man, it's really bad, and we didn't get to it, but here's Norman Osborn. Just a dead ringer for Willem Dafoe, the most recognizable interpretation, right? What are we doing? I mean, you guys have the capability of doing good animation. Like, check this out. It's crazy how smooth X-Men 97 is, and it got derided, at least for some of those early looks. It's like, oh, you're trying to ape the early 90s style. You're trying to look far too much like something that's 30 years ago. What are you guys doing? It's like this right here, like you've seen a little bit of this. I don't obviously want to get flagged or anything like that, but that's smooth, man. That looks real nice. The Spider-Man stuff, what are we doing out here? Andy's going to be a streamer? Oh, this thing's going to suck. Disney Plus unveils your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man trailer with complete race-swapped cast, including Black Harry and Black Norman Osborn. Well, hey, the only time that they could depict mostly intact black families if they have to race swap them. Disney Plus is releasing a new Spiderman cartoon titled Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man on January 29th. The first trailer dropped for Marvel Entertainment, and it shows a completely race-swap supporting cast, including Harry and Norman Osborn as Blackman. So you're theoretically going to be making the Green and Hobgoblin into mass murderers? That Spider-Man takes place in New York, not in Chicago. After fans mostly praise, yes, X-Men 97, despite its woke activism from showrunner Bo DeMeo. Yeah, that OnlyFans freak actually made a pretty decent X-Men show. Disney Plus is ready to follow up with Marvel's flagship character, Spiderman, for a new cartoon with a classic animated feel. Nah, man, it's CalArts cel-shaded bullshit that just, looks cheap. It looks very cheap. However, it appears it has put diversity, equity, and inclusion into overdrive with the launch of the recent trailer. The trailer hopes I'm sorry, opens with a remix of the original Spiderman cartoon theme. Yeah, put to a hip-hop beat, of course, trying to capture an urban demographic they so crave at Disney. Yeah, I saved you all that. Welcome. Peter is shown as Spider-Man in a homemade costume that looks a lot like the Scarlet Spider before he teams with Norman Osborn to create a new costume with an updated look and technology. Through the trailer, however, the diversity components appear to be over the top. None of Peter Parker's typical supporting cast, at least in familiar iterations from the comic, appear to be present. Peter is shown at school with a gaggle of minority women. Yeah, of course, I'd imagine that's going to be Mary Jane, right? Though the trailer, yes, does not elaborate who they are, it's easy to speculate at least one of these will be a race-swapped version of Mary Jane Watson, because they already got away with it in the movie. So, of course, it's so funny, right? Because I've seen some of the conversation go around about this trailer, and people are the common rejoinder from the 6 freaks who are going to hold this up and then wonder why it gets canceled after 1 season. Or 2 because it's animation and normally it gets commissioned for 2 because they're more costly to produce up front. But we'll see how this goes. Why do you think Velma got 2 seasons? It wasn't because of its ratings, it's just how it was created. But their retort to everybody saying is like, why? Well, what's with all this race swap and stuff? This is getting really boring. I'm not going to watch this. Oh, you didn't complain when it happened to Mary Jane in the movies. Well, A, everybody did complain about it, and B, it's playing out that meme that is now thankfully going around a lot more prominently where nobody likes Zendaya. She's the most overmarketed mid that we've seen in a generation, and perhaps all time. But they never want to point out that it always tends to go in one direction, and once it happens to a character, they're always going to stay their race-changed version. I mean, just take a look over at Superman. Take a look at what DC has done with Perry White. Not so Perry White anymore, is he? But you got Lawrence Fishburne the first time, and it's like, okay, Lawrence Fishburne is pretty great. Now you got some stark raving lunatic playing the role. Yeah, okay, fantastic stuff. But more on James Gunn probably tomorrow, day after, very near future. Peter's teacher is also a black man. For blacks being 13% of the population, they're nearly 90% of Spider-Man's supporting cast in the trailer. Very funny, very funny. At the end, Norman Osborn is shown as a black man who's guiding Peter down a bad path to work with him in some capacity with a new Spider-Man suit. And that's where the trailer ends, but it's not the strangest part. During the trailer, Peter meets up with Harry Osborn, who has the gap teeth and the red hair and a lot of earrings. I was not only shown as black, but he's also got a very effeminate features with long hair and a bun. Oh yeah, right, in the man bun. That one just skated by on the sheer absurdity of just the bad art as well. Earrings, yes, pouty lips, and the viewer an implication that he might be, something or something else. Fans appreciated that X-Men 97 didn't change their characters too much in their appearance through the show. Yeah, exactly. Cyclops wasn't sucking cock, and Wolverine wasn't putting the adamantium in his butt cheeks to the test from a Sentinel. It was very romantically focused, but it wasn't unfaithful to the source material. This seems like a ridiculous move from Disney and Marvel Entertainment to make in the current environment. But here's the thing. Who knows how long this has been in development for? It's Disney, it's Spider-Man. They kind of want to get it right as it's a first in-house produced product. Could they have to make these changes because of some deal with Sony? Maybe. I think that's being way too charitable for what they've been caught red-handed doing for a while. This could also be some legacy content, like Agatha, like the upcoming Ironheart, greenlit during the time when Marvel thought they could do no wrong and they could release literally anything and print money with. That flies directly in the face of the new course correction that they're planning for post Fantastic Four. I guess that's going to be the big pivot point, and moving forward in 2025, there might actually be some light at the end of the diversity tunnel. This could just be some holdover stuff. I'm totally willing to accept that. It's just the same thing with Skeleton Crew. Realize that's still that's actually still releasing. The show releases on a streaming service and nobody watches it. Is it really streaming after all? But they're also trying to soft push an agenda. Maybe this is Marvel, not realizing that all of this stuff is overall brand cancer, but just once again realizing that, we might have overstepped in a couple of areas. Perhaps Agatha was a little bit too much. Perhaps the Acolyte was a bridge too far, one that Master Soul managed to hold up but not save the children with. But I digress. But instead of properly showing an about face, making adequate changes. They're just simply going to stand there and wait. Stand there, release some stuff that normies might clap at, only to wait for the opportune time to continue their march through the institution, to continue to push their progressive ideology. They might take a break for a couple of years. 2025 might in fact end up being the year of course correction. But how long are we going to be correcting for? Which course are they going to be heading down moving forward? Is it going to be putting out quality content that is faithful to the source material and also satisfies people that just want good writing? Perhaps. Or could this just simply be a stopgap to lull everybody back into quiet complacency, only to make Zendaya the new Iron Man? So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.